to the My First Rodeo podcast, the show that asks very cool, interesting, and famous people about the various firsts on their path to success. Today is absolutely no exception. Patric Young is my guest, and you're going to love Patric. If you happen to be an SEC basketball fan or a professional basketball fan, you'll know Patric. That's Patric, no K, as he tells us during the episode. Played at the highest level, really everywhere from junior high school, where he shot up from 6'2" or 6'3" to 6'9", I think, by the time he graduated high school, and then played on some of the Final Four teams at the University of Florida, and then went on to play in the NBA and on into Europe, and even in the Middle East. I think he finished his career playing for a team in Israel. But, what defines him as much as anything is the accident that took the use of his legs just a few years ago. I believe it was 3 years ago last month. And really everything that he had done up to that point, athletically, I'd say spiritually, mentally, in terms of preparation, athleticism, perseverance, really every accolade that you could give that comes from either the strength that made him a great athlete or the areas where he was weak. And he just had great people like great coach Billy Donovan, who poured into him, prepared him for that moment when in a relatively simple car accident, his back snapped and he was no longer able to walk any longer, and had hospitalizations over the next couple of years, including one as long as about a half a year. And through it all, well, that's not fair to say, but outwardly looking through it all, he has been positive. He has chosen joy. He has chosen to inspire others. He's created a foundation to help others who are not as fortunate as him, that had to go through or do go through or will go through spinal injuries and the like. Just an incredible story. And I'm so excited to sit down with him. Gotten to know him some through a weekly broadcast I do on a streaming service where he's on it every day or most days. It's called The Young Norvell Show, Young and Norvell. They talk about sports, and I'm the stupid guy who comes on and talks about the funny side of sports. But I don't know, something about him, and it seems to him something about me drew us together, and we've begun to build a relationship on things that we do outside that show and to support each other. And it's a cool thing. And he is beyond cool and amazing and positive. Public speaker, has a book called Sit to Rise, Turning Your Darkest Pain into Your Brightest Victory, forward by Billy Donovan, and obviously he wrote it himself. And he is a broadcaster on ESPN and the SEC network, I think it's called. And just a fascinating guy. I think you're going to enjoy hearing more about him. And if you're a University of Florida fan or a basketball fan or an SEC fan, then he walks through some pretty cool experiences of what it's like to go from being, really one of the elites in high school and even into college, and then sort of transitioning in that college experience where there's players who are as good as you, and then some starting to be better. And then you get into the NBA and all of a sudden you're just another player, and the speed and the athleticism and the finesse and the experience starts to separate people. And what that's like for those of us who are mere mortals who play sports on the weekends or watch and attempt to explain it. But he explains it from the inside out. That's a cool thing. I hope things are going well for you. I hope you're doing well. This is summer when we're recording this. It's really hot here in northern Florida. Things are interesting, certainly politically and divisively and conspiratorially. And I hope you're doing well through all that. I hope you're finding your priorities. I'm trying to do that. My son Anthony is staying with me this summer. I love that. I haven't had him living with me since well before he went to college, and he's home this summer working in the area for a law firm. He is about to enter his third year of law school, where he's doing extraordinarily well. Those of you who know about law and law school, he is on the Law Review, which is a cool thing. He is an editor on the Law Review, and he's getting an article published about the death penalty. And now he's applying for clerkships, and just so impressed to see him doing that as I near the last phase, kind of, sort of my career. It's a really cool thing to go through law school again, but as the mentor of someone else who you care about, and then to see them entering the legal career and the things that have changed and the things that haven't. And it's a fun stage of life when your kids become friends isn't the right word, but I don't know, you become a little more of a mentor and a little less of a parent. And then there's things that they can teach you. Certainly, they are tech support. I think that's legally their obligation to support us in technology. But there's so many other things. He's exposing me to cool movies and shows and music. And then, some of the things that I've listened to or watched or been a fan of, he's either independently found or is open to. So that's a fun phase. We had a funny experience today, mainly because I'm a hypochondriac, but I asked him to take the trash out, and instead of putting it in the trash, he put it in the recycle bin, which doesn't get taken out as often. And what makes matters worse is it was a really icky compilation of things that had come from my freezer, including some, I don't know, frozen chicken that didn't do so well. So we decided to throw it away, and just a big full garbage bag of stuff that was not sealed off very well. And so I went out the other day, and it just did not smell very good. And I realized that this very unsealed bag in this 95-degree Florida heat was sitting in a not so well sealed recycle bin that hadn't gone out now for a week to 10 days. And so I got brave, and this morning I went out, but I never prepare adequately for things. I was wearing my pajamas and slippers, sort of rubber, whatever those are, on my feet, and didn't wear any mask, and I could only find one rubber glove, so I put that on, and I dumped the recycle bin over, and the trash sort of fell out and down, and at the risk of being too graphic, the flies and the fly larvae, maggots, whatever they are, spilled out, and I began to pile it into a hefty bag. And as I did so, I can only describe it as juices then flew up and into my eye. And for just a moment, I, in my hypochondriac state, was blinded. And I ran into the house, bounced through the kitchen, around the pool, hoping not to fall in, calling out for my son. And it was tough. I splashed water in my eye for some period of time, called him for reasons I don't quite understand. And he's like, yeah, what do you want me to do? And I've been convinced all day that I am going to organically become much like Jeff Goldblum in The Fly. I'm going to turn into a fly by the end of the evening, because I have clearly fly and larva juice in my eyes. So they're still burning, at least in my mind. And we'll see what happens. This could just be me documenting this moment before I assume grow superpowers and wings, but also become less attractive. So anyway, if that happens, you'll have heard it first here on the podcast. Thought that would be an interesting story for you to hear before we get into a much more interesting story, much more interesting episode for sure, where we talk about somebody who's done extraordinary things, and both on the court and more importantly off the court. I hope you enjoy this episode. This is me talking to Patric Young. Well, welcome to my dining room, Patric.
It's awesome. Oh, look, you got a little fake poured over wine glass.
I do. It's funny.
It is funny.
It was at my parents' house, and my dad passed a couple years ago. My mom now has dementia. And as we were moving her out, we didn't keep a lot of stuff, but whenever I brought my kids over, they'd see that little, for our listeners, it's just it's just a glass that looks like a glass of spilled wine, and everybody comes in and.
Did you make it use some epoxy and some dye or something like that, or you got it in?
No, you can just pick it up and move it around.
Oh, you can.
Just a little prop. Yeah,
it reminds me at the escape room that I used to work out and I'm still involved and I haven't gotten completely bought out yet. We used epoxy for one of the rooms. We used epoxy a lot, but to keep the balls in the solo cup beer pong, because it's a theme, it's a knock on The Hangover.
I got you.
And we had like one or two cups that we used the epoxy. They were bent over and they stayed just like that. Because man, you wouldn't believe it, but people lose their minds when they're in an escape room.
I'd imagine
their whole like, as people say, you have no like house manners, or like you've never been taught how to treat other people's things.
Yeah, you're locked in. I must be the last person in the world that has not been in an escape room.
You absolutely should give it a try.
Is it worth it?
It's worth it. It's absolutely.
I don't know. I think I will find out that I am the dumbest of all my friends, and that's I don't want to reveal that in that moment.
I would say it's not so much about intellect and IQ. It's a little bit more awareness.
Yeah.
Attention to detail.
Some
critical thinking.
Okay, I should be able to do that.
I think you should. Yeah. Once you do it, and it's always helpful if you have one person that's done it before, or even a group of newbies,
right? That
you all can kind of learn to communication. Communication is the key to everything in life. If you can communicate well, you have a chance to succeed. But and I'm glad we actually brought this topic on about the escape room. It's almost like a science experiment when you're the game master.
Yeah.
The rooms are the exact same.
Right.
So that's the control. There's no change in that. The control variable is the people.
Mm.
And I got to say, I worked there for about 8 or 9 months before I went and played my last season overseas in basketball. I went to Israel.
Oh, so you've been in it a while. You were in these.
Yeah, I was in it and then, and I don't want to be cynical here. There are a lot of people that stopped learning after high school.
Oh, yeah.
I'll say that. Or sooner. And there was one group and my business partner, he was always like, he's very, very smart guy, very little controlling. But, once he saw that you got it, he let you be. And you don't want to give away the clues.
No.
Right. But this group of people I had to give them the clues and they still could not get it. He's like, Pat, you're saying too much. I'm like, dude, they're still on number 1. 20 minutes have passed. What do you want me to do?
Do they pay by the hour? Like the dumber they are, the more you pay?
I wish.
That'd be a good business model.
If that were the case, because, we did have people that they would not finish the room. They'd leave.
Yeah.
Go get lunch or something, and they come back and do it again.
Oh,
and, kind of pick up where they left.
That's interesting.
I'll take that money.
I think I'm the opposite. I didn't start learning till after high school. Like somehow or another, I managed to make it through high school. But, I went on to be a straight A student in college. I graduated, the top 10% at Georgetown Law. And I still think they should come back and take my diplomas away. My foundation for intelligence. And so, I get into Georgetown again. It seemed like a miracle. And
what was your GPA like going out of high school?
Out of high school, man, I'd have to look back. But if it was a high C, I'd be surprised.
Got you.
I was a real late academic bloomer. I was one of those guys that always said I could do better. And so then I hired a tutor on my own with my own money that summer. And I was like, I've always said I'm going to, go to a good law school. And I better figure out how to get there.
Well, shoot, investing in yourself is a great motivator. You didn't want to waste your money.
I don't know why I waited so long, because the problem now is, I get into Georgetown. Obviously, it's 30 years ago, but I'm there with all these Ivy League people and people that, had been academically inclined their whole lives. And just having, I could do all right in the legal stuff that we were all learning at the same time. But in terms of like, sometimes I get invited over somebody's house to play, Trivial Pursuit was big back then. And they'd be like, you don't know where this country is, or you don't know who this leader was, or who the 7th president was. And I think I've picked up a lot of that now, but there are still real big gaps.
But the argument that I always like to bring to that, because I can get, getting that public shame of how do you not know this stuff? It's like, how much of those things actually help you or benefit you in life other than like, this social standard, which if you don't define yourself by this social standard, you shouldn't care about other people. Like,
I think that's right.
Oh, I don't know where this country is, or I don't know where that thing is, or what that, it's not a passion of mine.
Right.
Convince me.
Yeah. I think, where it comes into play for me is with context, right? Like, I care about issues. I care about people. I care about, I don't know, world peace, these things that we all sort of follow or hide from. And to understand sort of why things are the way they are, there's certain things like geography and history that it's important to know. So I think I filled in the important ones. I may not know.
History for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm not great at sports. Are you like a sports trivia guy? Which is fun that I'm on a sports radio show now.
So I think I've played trivia twice in my life, and I think I won both times.
Right.
And my only contribution to those were I won't say the only, but for sure there were 2 questions or 3 that I was the only one that knew it.
Right.
And like that put us over the hump to win.
Yeah. So like records in the NBA and college, are you the kind of guy that knows that stuff?
If you were to give
hold
me
some of them, so.
But if you were to give me probably the last 10 to 15 years, I think I'd have a chance.
Right.
But even as a professional, when I went to New Orleans after college.
Right.
And I remember one of my assistant coaches was telling me like, dude, you got to get, what's it called? NBA TV or whatever, the league pass. Cause I wouldn't really watch games.
Yeah.
So I'd miss out on stuff like that. And then I go to play overseas, and I kept up with the Gators a little bit. But when it came to keeping up with college basketball, brackets, all that stuff, it just seemed like, when you're overseas and you're going to live there, I'm not saying you don't forget about and dismiss and detach yourself from the things in America, but I think it's a disservice to your life if you don't try to be present and try to embrace some of the things, the culture. Like when I was in Greece, if I said, hey, Mike, let's get some coffee. Let's go. We're there for 3 or 4 hours on a Monday morning.
Right.
I'm like, don't you need to work in something? But that's kind of their mindset was to slow life down.
We don't do that enough.
We don't do that enough here.
Yeah. The sports thing's interesting for me because this will surprise you looking at me, but I was not a big athlete growing up. I was
try to keep a straight face.
I became a runner later in life, but all that to say, you played at the highest levels, and I always wonder, like, say when you were at Florida, you're going to play another team next week. How much, I guess, film or knowledge do you have on the guy you're going to cover, who's going to cover you?
Yeah.
So, obviously left-handed, right-handed, but I'm sure there's all kinds of nuances. And then you get into, obviously the professionals, both domestically and overseas, a lot of people to follow, but there's a lot of tape.
Man, it's such a great question because there's so much that I've experienced that, I almost wish I would have stayed in the NBA a little bit longer so I could even give you more context on that. So in college, the first time I got exposed to kind of organized sport coaching or scouting would have been at Providence with Coach Martin. And, he would have the assistant coach, Chip Stroud. He's now the head coach over at Episcopal basketball. Like if we had a team that wasn't really in our district or area, like Coach Stroud would drive down there, get some scouting, like watch and say, hey, this guy can only do X, Y, and Z. Like the best example, which I'll never forget, we were playing against Florida Air Academy out of Melbourne. They had this kid on this team. He's, say we on a fast break, he doesn't have the ball, but he's like, as they're dribbling in transition, he's looking back, asking for the ball to shoot it. Mm-hmm. He's not looking at where he's at. So there were plenty of times in this film, this kid was crossing half court and just shooting it. Like,
so you needed to know that.
You needed to know that.
Yeah.
They're bad shots, of course. But shoot, if a guy makes 3 of those in the game, it changes everything. You got to cover him.
And by the same token, if they do stupid things that they're not successful at, then you don't need to chase them all around the court.
Yeah, I think for that situation, the thought wasn't to stop him, but when you get to the NBA level, some guys are so good, you can't stop them, but maybe you can distract them. Maybe you can get them to hesitate for a second. So if you could make it a little bit harder for him to catch the ball or a second of a hesitation, he's, that guy's going to start hurting his team with the bad shots. But then on the opposite side, for our offense, we got to attack their side. When I got to the college level with Coach Donovan, and I always hated this, Mike, that midday lull you get where the energy just goes down.
Oh, yeah.
So our great academic advisor, Tom Williams, he actually just retired 4 decades of being the men's basketball academic advisor. He would schedule all our classes in the mornings. So you'd sometimes get an hour break before practice or so. You think any of us at 18 were wise enough to go and take a nap?
Yeah, probably not.
So we'd go straight to the gym. You get taped up, change, you shoot some shots, and then we'd go and sit down in the video room. And you're there and you're watching, and then all of a sudden that head starts nodding down.
Oh yeah.
And I felt so embarrassed. I was in the front row.
Yeah, and you're not little.
Oh, man. And, the assistant coaches, they put so much effort into scouting and team prep and game prep. That's why they typically that's where they earn their money.
Right.
Preparing you
against a difference maker.
Yeah, and I felt so bad for Coach.
So they had unlimited information that you could use.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Oh, and it was super, super helpful because, when you're in college, you don't see guys often. But when you go to the NBA, you see other opponents all the time.
Right.
So quick one, Coach Donovan, when he got the job with the Thunder, he's trying to figure out how best can I scout for the Thunder against whatever team. And Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook were like, Coach, we've played these guys 25 times. We know what they like. What else can you help us find to be more effective? So that's pretty much most NBA coaches, their job is to look for holes outside of the obvious to help their team win.
Yeah, that's interesting. And obviously, since you play them multiple times, figure out what didn't work last time and what might work the next time.
Comes down to will at a certain point. And a lot of sports, not just basketball. I mean, more than 50% of the game has nothing to do with talent.
Mm-hmm. Oh, everybody's so talented at that level. And talk about that, because obviously you and the handful of other people that are as good as you were are, head and shoulders, both physically and ability wise, above most of the guys on your team. And then obviously the people you're playing against in, say, middle school, and then high school, pretty much the same. Then college, it starts to level out. And then you're one of the best guys, but then the difference maker, and everybody gets to this point, I guess, unless you're Michael Jordan or LeBron James, where all of a sudden, for the first time in your life, there are people that are better than you.
Yeah.
And what is that realization like? Gosh,
and I wish, that was a realization that I came to a lot sooner in life. Actually, I've been listening to this book by John Maxwell, really good, called Failing Forward. And there was a quote, I need to find it and write it down from a few chapters I just listened to. The guy said, Lord, keep me from the man who thinks he's always right, and keep me from the man who makes the same mistake over and over and never learns.
Mm-hmm.
I was at a young age that first category because talent does play a role without a doubt in a lot of sports in terms of, depending on what age you are, how quick you pick things up, your athleticism, et cetera. But at a certain age, talent really doesn't matter as much. Yes, the intangibles, being 6'9", but scouting, remembering plays. Can you remember plays? I had so many teammates in my career that were frustrated with playing time. And it's like, dude, you aren't reliable in practice. You can't remember the plays. You can't do what you're asked. You don't bring energy every day. You're going to class late. Coaches hold a standard. And that's why What recently happened here with the quarterback at BYU.
Right.
The charges got dropped in terms of any type of sexual crime,
Right.
but he broke a law at BYU. You cannot have premarital sex at that school. That's their standard.
You bargained for that.
You knew going in there that was a standard. And if BYU bends their knee, I mean, and this quarterback was good.
Yeah, you could debate whether the standard is right, but that's the standard.
That's the standard they've upheld. You know,
Right.
No player is bigger than the organization. And the sooner I think you can grasp that, I think the sooner a player can understand and put themselves in the driver's seat. All right.
But
this
someone
is the
someone that's as good as you were relative to everyone else, wouldn't it be easy to just coast? I mean, you went from 6'2" to 6'9" in high school.
Yeah, 6'2" to about 6'8", 6'9", around there.
Right.
I think I was 6'1.5", 6'2", finishing up middle school. And then for sure, 6'5", and I think I ended the year, my freshman year, at 6'7".
Right.
Hey, Anthony Davis grew 7 inches in one summer.
Yeah, no,
6'4" to 6'11".
I'm still waiting myself. Frankly, I'm waiting for puberty. I'm waiting for puberty.
Waiting for it to kick in.
Think I got a chance? I mean,
you got a great chance.
I got eligibility left. I haven't used any of it up.
You know, if you maybe reach out to your doctor about some. You know, maybe getting you off those hormone blockers.
You think that's it? I've been holding it back.
That might help.
I'm going to be the best athlete at the senior citizen home. But you could have just put your hands up and been, certainly a starting player and probably the best player on the team. So when do you start? When do you learn the things you just described, which is you got to have the intangibles?
Well, a disservice that a lot of athletes get, and kids in general. Are you prepared? Are you getting prepared for being a pro, for being an adult, for like when the onus is on you, that instead of pointing fingers, you take responsibility for everything? Like, are you, it goes to that. And then it also goes to like, how good do you actually want to be? Where do you want to take this? Do you want to be great? If you want to be great, you got to do what people that are great do. You got to stop doing things that average people do. And it wasn't until later in my career that I really started to embrace that. Man, there's so many distractions, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Like, there's so many things that come with the cost of being great at anything or really good, at being with a great lawyer, being a great comedian, or being a comedian in general. You open yourself up to whatever. People, you're never going to please everyone. But the biggest, like becoming a pro, what does that mean? Because you're going to have in life terrible bosses, terrible coworkers, really bad systems. You're going to be in positions where you hold no power, et cetera. But can you stay true to your own internal standard of like, okay, I can't control that. I had an awful coach when I was in Greece. He was great defensively, but like he struggled with having relationship. His placement position of being the head coach. Yeah. And look, yes, you're the authority, but he was terrible with people.
Didn't use the authority well.
Like I would hate to be in the elevator with him if we were going to team, because it's just awkward. Because the guy is just he ripped my head off one time. We were beating a team by 40 points. I'm not exaggerating. 40.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good. And there was like 3 minutes left in the game. I came back from injury. I'm trying to get back into things. And I say, we have a timeout. And I say it verbatim, just like this. He says, hey, guys, I want you to run this play, blah, blah, blah. Patrick, going to get you the ball. And I said, hey, coach, is it possible that we run this other play? Like it's pretty much going to get me the ball in the same place, but, they're fighting me so much in the middle, and I'm thinking to save time. Sure. It's a shot clock. I don't want to waste five seconds fighting the guy in the paint to get the ball on the block.
Maybe get hurt.
Mike, you would think I like cursed his mom.
Yeah, it was authority.
Told him just like revealed his deepest, darkest secrets. All he saw was red.
Yeah. Wow. Just like that.
Just like that, man. And, yeah, that changed and shaped me as an athlete, because I came to see you can have great intentions, bringing your best effort, trying to be a pro, and things can still not go your way. can you get yourself centered back to what you can control? And now that affect your character.
And I've heard you say that even, and probably even later, but as late as when you were being coached by Billy Donovan at the University of Florida, that you didn't see yourself as initially coachable or entirely coachable. So at what point, what was holding you back then? And sort of, I'm assuming it's not immediate, it's gradual, everything you've just described. You weren't an eighth grader with that commitment to professionalism.
No, man, I don't know what it was. I wish I could go back and like analyze myself as a child, because I had so much discord, even with my own dad. Right. Of him trying to coach me and help me out. Like looking back, I'm like, duh, my dad is just like my biggest fan. He's the one that's, he wasn't a basketball guy. He was a football guy, but he would take me to the coaches, and to save money wisely, I take you to this coach. You work with them for an hour or two. I don't have enough money to pay for you to go there every day, but I can videotape, I can watch, we can do those drills. And I don't understand. So that bled into, how I handle myself going into Florida and a little bit at Providence. It took Coach Donovan calling me out in truth and love at the same time. He was very direct and said, hey, man, like, we love you here and we know you want to be a Gator, but you're being uncoachable right now. And if you're not going to let us coach you and try to help you get better, blah, 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 you should think about going somewhere else.
Wow.
And I was like, wait, what? He's telling me I should think about transferring?
And that's pre-portal,
That's pre. Yeah, you're sitting the whole year out.
Yeah.
You know, of course, I probably would have been top on the list, but of transfers, but there would have been an immediate like, he's a freshman. Why is he in the transfer portal already? And then I thought about my family. I just thought about the future I wanted. And I was not perfect after that, but the progress, and Coach Donovan would attest to it. You know, when someone confronts you about something, and especially like, you got to give a person credit if there's someone that actually, they care about you.
Sure.
You know, this is not just like, some random Joe Schmo criticizing you, right? Where you can just like, this dude doesn't know what he's talking about. He or she's only seen a page, but he had enough deposits in my life where he could confront me in a way where I had to look within.
He had the capital in your life.
Exactly. And moving forward, he continued to hold me accountable to the things when I would backslide, because you can't expect an 18-year-old to, never make those mistakes again. But he was so forgiving. We'd address it. We'd get to a solution, or like, talk about how we can do better in this way or that way. And then we move on from it.
Did you, both sides, did you see yourself as uncoachable before he said that? And then, what do you see now looking back that he was calling out? What was he saying?
No, I don't think I saw it at the time, because you only know what you've been exposed to. And I thought I knew what it meant to work hard.
Right.
I thought I knew what it meant to be a good teammate and all those things. And when you think you know everything, you're rigid against any environment that's going to confront you on that. And yeah, Mike, it took time. It was a process of me growing in it. I did not want to be labeled as uncoachable. Mm-hmm. In my life now, I don't want to be labeled as arrogant or cocky. I hope, my kind of mission statement, or whenever I go to speak at a stage or anything, authentic, lively, and humble. I think there's confidence that comes in a space when you can truly be yourself, and that you're not expecting people. Like, I feel as though whenever I go into a space, I know what I can bring to the table in a good way. And if someone doesn't match my energy, or someone's like trying to drain my energy, I'm like, that person might not be the one for me in my life. But, when I saw guys actually like really putting in work, where they're in the gym, maybe 2 sessions a day, taking a break, like that was their only focus. And I was like, wow, I wish I would have done this sooner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I wasn't much of a shooter. Like I could have developed a much better shot or something, even a better free throw shooter. My goodness gracious, there's no one even standing in front of me, and I couldn't knock down the free throws.
That was not your strength, huh? What at what point? I mean, do you look back and think if you had done more of those things, you might have had a more substantial career, say at the NBA level?
Yeah, to an extent, but people often say things are political when in terms of opportunity, which to an extent I see it.
Mm-hmm.
I was the 15th guy on the roster. Monty Williams, as great of a man as he is, it wasn't his best coaching job. So his seat was very warm.
Mm-hmm.
And us going 6-19 to start the season,
right?
Who's the first one that can go before the coach, the undrafted rookie?
Mm-hmm.
If I would have embraced, and I'm really glad you bring this up. So most people listening that are going to listen to this, they won't know, and you're going to tell them, and they'll look up, but they'll see that I was in a car accident in 2022 that changed my life. I'm in a wheelchair now, and when I was in Craig Hospital doing rehab, they had me on a program that some days started at 8 a.m. and I'd be so mad if it was started at 8, but most times it was 9 to 4 or 9 to 3 or something like that. And one day I called Coach Donovan after about 2 or 3 weeks of doing that. I said, Coach, if I would have worked as hard back then as I am now,
right,
I would have been a first round draft pick.
Yeah,
without a doubt. And this battle that I had to face was far greater than putting a ball in a hoop, because we're talking about quality of life. We're talking about will to live. We're talking about trying to get independence again. And I think if you can't be coachable, if I couldn't have been coachable in that time of rehab, of acceptance of where I was, acceptance doesn't mean that you're going to be there forever, but you can't take the next step unless you say, all right, this is the situation for now.
Right.
And it's a direct connection there. Turning, I think the lesson from my basketball career helped me in the accident that changed my life and gave me the determination and the humility. And I relied and still do rely so much on my friends and family that provide me with motivation, things to do, things to look forward to, like doing this with you right now, something to look forward to. Like, I don't care about that stuff that I used to, of like, oh, I need to be on this big platform and that thing. And I'm like, life's too short.
Yeah.
For one, everybody's important in my mind. I try to have that.
And I see obviously just anecdotes, and nobody's been through this entire experience with you except, maybe your mother and a few close people, but you've been doing it all yourself. I mean, you're the only one that went through it. But as I look at the pictures and videos and so forth, and some of your presentations, I saw a picture of you being life flighted.
Yeah, man.
And you're smiling. And thumbs upping.
I don't know why.
Well, I don't know why
I'm doing that.
I'm just saying that the spirit that I see here, there had to have been some dark moments, but it also seems like very quickly you accepted that two things. One, that this was your new, not normal, but there was going to be a new normal, and that you were going to approach it with positivity. Again, I'm sure there are dark days and still are, but was it what in your life, upbringing and otherwise, gave you the ability to do that really extraordinary thing?
Such a great question. What in my life? I can't go without giving credit to my mother and father. My dad, I hope you get a chance to meet him. He can talk to this painting behind you and get it to feel good about itself. Oh, wow. He's just that type of person where he's an encourager. He's a helper. He always looks for the positive in things. And my mom, the same. My mom more so was like a little bit more of the authoritarian, a little bit more of the standard holder in the household of like, so what? Be great. Still be you. Still, you're not average. Why are you choosing to be average? That was what happened in my baseball career. My junior year at Paxton, I was slacking off on my grades. Uh, not slacking. I mean, it was less. It wasn't my best. It's not about the letters. It's about giving my best. Obviously, I wasn't failing, but I think I came home with like 4 or 5 C's, and I knew it. I was like, man, my mom's not gonna be happy about this, but like, it's not that big a deal. She did not flinch. She saw it. Oh, so you're choosing to be average. Okay. Well, since you're choosing to be average in school and that's not who you are, we're going to have to change some things. And baseball was the one thing in the way there. And I loved baseball. And ironically, that team that I didn't play for went to the state championship game.
And that was, you were still at Paxton in your junior year? So you
Paxton,
transferred to Providence?
Transferred after my junior year. But looking at that direct thing that you're trying to draw a line, I don't think it's a straight line in terms of how I was able to exhibit joy in that moment. I think it was an encapsulation of my friends that dropped everything and flew up there to see me. Part of that at that moment, I was going from that plane to the new hospital in Craig Hospital in Denver. That was the rehab hospital. So there was some joy found there. And when I just remember in the hospital, as I was getting closer to discharge, I didn't want to be there anymore. Not because of I wasn't getting taken care of or anything like that. I thought life was outside of that hospital.
Right.
Like, is it going to be hard? Sure. Is it going to be different? Duh. But like, you got to go and take it on. It forced me to live in discomfort. Sorry about that. I got a timer for
oh, you're all good.
Reminders. It forced me to say, all right, Pat, what are you going to do with this? And sports, that level of determination, because I had injuries through sports and you want to get back. So I kind of knew what was at hand. This is completely different. Spinal cord injury isn't like tearing an ACL,
right?
Where, you might be coming back. Yeah. That determination of getting to independence, it was at the time for my ex-wife, for my stepdaughter, friends and family. I wanted to just like lighten the burden on them, be an inspiration to them, and live it authentically.
Yeah.
I didn't just want them to think I'm smiling and fighting just because I'm doing it for you type thing. Like, it's like, I'm doing it for you. I don't really want to do this. That wasn't the case. I really wanted to be, the best of my ability. Everyone say, oh, it's still just Patrick,
What do you do? And I'm sure it's changed. This has been 4 years since you've been in a wheelchair?
3 years, June 29th of 2022. Not 4 yet.
Okay. Yeah. So just 3. I don't mean just like in a little while. I mean, it was just a month ago. What do you do to not get to that place where you feel sorry for yourself?
So I try to have a sobering statement whenever I fall into that. There's one, and they're both in the same thing. I remind myself like how grateful I should be to be alive. Mm-hmm. I've seen so many people that car accidents, they're not here. Diving accidents, they don't have use of their hands, no family, no support to get through this, poor living conditions. I'm fortunate. I didn't have a job, my career in construction. So I didn't have to make a complete career shift. I'm so blessed and fortunate to still work with SEC Network. And then sometimes when I'm down and I can't just get myself out, I put on Action News Jax.
There you go.
I put on Action News Jax because on Action News Jax, they tell you more bad news than good news, right? And you see something on there and you say, gosh, at least I'm here.
Yeah. Or
my situation compared to them is nothing. And I go from being whatever I was to being grateful and I'm good right after that.
Yeah. And it seems like you do more than just see the negative. You see where you can bring positivity to it. Because I know there's so many people and so many causes, and your foundation is based in doing that. So, being purposeful.
I had no idea that, the drain of not the drain. Like, it's a joy to be able to start a foundation and to lighten and put a light on certain things that I've experienced that other people are experiencing, and they're worse or whatever. But like, the fundraising isn't the hard part.
Mm-hmm.
It's when you actually get exposed to the people that you're trying to support, where, I mean, your heart breaks for those people. There's one kid that I have been trying to help here recently, and he has a nobody.
Mm.
Oddly enough, at 19 years old, he's in a intimate relationship with a woman that is 53 years old.
Mm.
And, you know, it's at the point now, like, I think I told you, I had to Baker Act him.
Oh, wow.
He called me saying he was going to take his life, and that he was trying to give me permission of like, this isn't your fault. And I just remember hanging up the phone, calling the police right away. They come over there and he's texting me all this nasty stuff. I'll never trust you again. And I'm like, you would trust me to get that information and to not do anything?
Right.
Like, I was like, I don't answer to you, man. I answer to God. And, you know, it's now to a point for him, because his mind, you know, I that quote you hear, it's better to have loved and lost than to have never loved before. And I could not agree more with that statement.
When that is love in that moment too. You may not receive it that way.
No, but I mean, you know, I mean, on a basic level, like a love every single boy and girl should get, but don't, because they live in a broken, messed up world, is from a mother and father.
Yeah.
And he never got that. Yeah. So his whole mind distorted on this love and this relationship with this woman that is like manipulated him, groomed him. Yeah. And he can't get past it.
And you have time for those people. I can't even tell you, since you and I have been connected, which isn't a ton of time, but I bumped into people that, didn't even know you, but somehow got in touch with you, and you went and visited a family member in the hospital.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and if I'm hearing about it, then that means there's a lot of that.
Yeah. And, it's not, this isn't something like the part I hate about foundations, but you have to, is pictures, videos. Look what we're doing. Look at this, look at that. And I'm like, that's not what I get it. You want to let people know, and fundraising, and obviously not getting audited by the IRS.
That's important.
That's important. I'm like, man, what I'm doing is something everyone can be doing. Look, I'm in a wheelchair and I'm going to visit people at hospitals on my own time.
Yeah.
There's many ways we can find to serve.
Right.
And I think as soon as I shifted my brain, my mind to serving and trying to help, is when I just stopped. For one, I felt this fulfillment, this joy in it. And then I stopped feeling so sorry for myself. And yeah.
I mean, that's amazing. Just a way to take, obviously cliche, but to take, something that could be devastating and if not life-ending, at least, send you in a path in a different direction. And obviously it's impressive that you didn't go that way.
And look, this is just my story. There's people that face things that are even tougher.
Sure.
I'm striving to maximize the cards I've been dealt. So I don't want someone to compare their situation to mine. Let it be motivation for you to maximize what you have and what you can do. Yeah. If that.
No, we live in such a victim mentality way. And let me say, I'm a hypochondriac, man. If I can't even imagine it, that there's obviously the saying, which I'll butcher, that, God challenges you with things you can, you can meet. I don't know that I could meet your challenge. I don't know that most people could. So
I wouldn't have said probably before that I think I could meet it before. I mean, look, my whole life up until that point, or even my professional career, my body was my business. Right. And even though after I finished and retired, of course, I wanted to play at least till I was 35. So I haven't even hit that yet. I'm 33 years old still. That I wanted to play basketball for as long as it's very self-serving, but it was a dream.
Yeah. Well, and then it's a gift. It was the gift you were given.
That got cut short, and I wasn't still a basketball player, but I still kind of identity-wise, cognitively associated myself with being this towering athlete, strong, burly man, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
And then
you
like,
would have walked around for the next 20, 30 years with people
Right.
saying, hey, you play basketball?
oh my gosh, my whole life. And then car accident. And it's like the car accident burned the ships. They burned the ships. You know, you can't even go back to that option.
Yeah.
How do you define yourself as a man
Right.
when that thing you identified yourself as is gone?
Yeah, you very clearly became a former basketball player. I mean, I'm sure you're still a big man.
Yeah. Oh man, people
Just
still try to people still try to convince me into playing wheelchair basketball. And I was like, man, maybe, but that itch for that type of competition, I had already retired from basketball. I was ready to move on, but you know, it's not too late. The Olympics are in LA.
There you go.
In 2028. That'd be pretty cool.
I wouldn't put any of that past you. So going backwards to when before the accident, obviously, and you come out of college undrafted. Talk about some of those first experiences, because I've heard athletes who I've spoken with on the podcast and otherwise talk about just that speed differential when you get to the NFL or the NBA or the pro level. And again, you're one of the fastest people in high school.
Yeah.
You're one of the fastest people in college. And then you get to the NBA, and I'm guessing you were not the fastest.
So I'm so glad you asked this. I get to give you a perfect illustration. So when you're the 15th guy, 14th, 15th guy on the roster, usually that's the rookies, unless they're drafted and they're like first round draft picks, you got to get at the gym early. Like Russ Smith played at Louisville. He was he actually got drafted. He and I were the class together. We almost got fined because we kept showing up at like 6:01.
Too early?
No, like we're supposed to be ready to go at 6 to lift weights, whatever they had us do.
6:01 a.m.
6:01 a.m. Yes. So we'd get there early. We do what we needed to do. And then practice technically wouldn't start till 11.
That's a lot of lifting and other things.
Well, there's a hierarchy in basketball. You get it. You pay the guys that come in later are the ones that are making the most money. Like AD didn't show up and Anthony Davis didn't show up till like 10, 15, maybe 10 o'clock, you know, and he'd work out for 30 minutes and we have practice. Practice is short.
Yeah.
Practice was an hour, maybe an hour and 15. There's things you would do after practice for sure. But I remember one practice in particular, because I wasn't getting a lot of reps in practice. So we do like the team peer pressure drills where we're doing like 3-man weave down, or a drill where we got to knock a number of shots in. Everyone's participating. But we were doing 5-on-5s. And Coach Monty Williams, he introduced me to the NBA. Ryan Anderson, white guy went to Cal, got a killer fadeaway. He scored on me like 9 times in a row.
You see it happen.
I'm more athletic than him.
Yeah.
I'm stronger than him. I'm faster than him. But that dude knew how to use his body. The plays were unbelievable. So, and I knew I was a really defensive player of the year coming out of college.
And he probably knew what would work on you too, right?
Well, Ryan had an unstoppable, like he would get in the post, hit you with his shoulder, and then go into this fadeaway. Yeah. It didn't matter what I did.
You couldn't process
you couldn't stop it.
Yeah. And that's probably the first time that ever happened.
Yes.
Let alone 9 times in a row.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I played against Anthony Davis in college when he was at Kentucky, and he was a really tough guy to guard because you could see he got better as the season went on. He started shooting threes, and I'm like, Coach, what you want me to do? He's 6'11". He blocks every shot. He sets great screens. He catches every alley-oop, and now he's shooting threes.
You want him to score inside or outside? Just tell me what you want me to take away.
Well, and I'm, it doesn't hurt me to say, like, obviously at one point he was a top 15, top 10 player in the NBA.
Sure.
Injuries. When you're, I look at Giannis, I look at Chet Holmgren, I look at Wembanyama. Those guys were made for basketball. I think their bodies weren't made for a regular life.
Well, that's true.
Those guys are hurt so much, man. Like they're long and they're skinny and they have no meat on them. So when they hit something, I'm like, gosh, it's like this vase.
Yes.
You drop it on the ground, I feel like those guys are going to shatter every time.
It is amazing when the NBA games that I've gone to, you sit in the stands and you see, and I don't know why they don't make it more comfortable for you guys when you're coming on and off the bench, but you got to sort of
those low behind seats. Yeah.
And not only that, but when you're going in, you have to sort of go to sit in front of the bench. I don't know what it's called, the desk.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not called a desk, but you got to sort of.
But it's odd in the NBA. They kind of, it's more college that you see the, guys. It's not as often
crouching down
because when there's a timeout, dead ball or whatever, the coach will just be like, all right,
you can stand up,
come in, or not stand up, get off the bench.
But whatever it is, it always looks like an
awkward
old man getting up, and then they get on and they're running up and down the court, and then they come off like an old man again.
Well, I mean, I think when you look at this, even for baseball, I mean, you play in college max 40 games. Baseball, I think you can play like 70. How does it make sense? All right, let's double it.
Yeah. So many games college is what? 35, 40?
Yeah.
And then
NBA is 82. And then
so it's literally
MLB is 162 games.
Yeah. And of course, football.
Oh, yeah. Football, 16 and, now 17. And I'm sure the players, when the NFL, it's a hard place to find, players and owners being happy because of injuries. I don't think NFL's ever going to get fully guaranteed contracts. These owners got to protect themselves in a sense. It's not your fault if you get hurt. It happens.
Yeah.
But like the individual players and eventually the owners, like that franchise has been around before you were there and is going to be there after. And they can't put themselves in a position where, they're screwed for the next few years because they gave you all this and they can't move. But also, like NFLPA, take care of your players.
Yeah.
Like they can't, let alone the concussions. A lot of these guys necessarily aren't getting great college degrees.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to the regular world might be, it just amazes me. And I know you saw that years ago, that 30 for 30 called Broke.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
It just amazes me that that's still a statistic of professional athletes being divorced, broke, or both within the first 3 years of retirement.
Sure.
It's unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. And I've worked with a number of them in that transition.
Really? Oh, man.
Speak about your situation, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I don't mind.
I mean, obviously, you made some money, but obviously not the top money. And then your injury obviously happens not on the court. Is there support? I mean, obviously, you've got a lot of people that are supporting you. You got friends like Billy Donovan who encourage and support you. But is there insurance, financial support, anything that helps you along the way? Yeah.
So, man, I was so blessed, and I still am. The job I was working was a 1099. It was a side job. You pay your own taxes. They give you that wage. So when I had the accident, I didn't think I was going to get workers' comp insurance. But they came in and they literally have, if I've paid a bill or something, or over these 3 years, it's been less than $2,000 or $3,000 of whatever I've paid.
Wow. All the treatment, all the
stuff, all the rehab. They have been incredible. And like in 2023, that's when I was in the hospital for like 128 days from infection. Like that had to be well over $1 million stay.
Sure.
Well over that. And, without having the insurance, I can't imagine where I would be. I mean, I'd be under the bank.
Yeah.
Under the prison in debt.
And I think that's probably what gives you empathy for people that are going through similar things that don't have the resources you do.
Man, I saw on CBS Morning News the other day, this mom and her daughter, they take care of her son and brother. He has some type of condition where he has seizures all the time.
Sure.
And most of the life expectancy isn't long because most of they'll die in their sleep.
Right.
For 4 years. That mom and sister have stayed up at night, switching times of watching over him. And Canva, as awesome as that company, as generous as they've been, they awarded her like $100,000 to help them out. And she's like, oh my gosh, this is so great. We're in $4 million of debt. This is definitely going to help. And I'm like, $4 million of debt. They'll never be able to pay that off.
Right.
I don't understand. I get it. Like, if there's one thing I would die on for sure in regards to taxpayer dollars is helping those with catastrophic life medical circumstances like that. Because I mean, look, as a society, I can't feel good at night knowing like this kid did nothing wrong. He just was born with this illness and like it's crippled his family.
Yeah.
And as a country, I wish we could care more for the marginalized, the people that, I mean, just dealt terrible cards. I think we're one of the leading countries in homelessness due to medical debt. And that just doesn't sit right with me for some reason.
Yeah. And we're all one, accident or birth or
phone call away. or just nothing. You did nothing and you're in the circumstance.
Yeah.
That's just crazy. That's how life works. And it's the equal playing field for all of us because no amount of money can change something you have no control over.
Yeah, but make it a little more comfortable for
the
person and the caregiver.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's to the point, like, shout outs to moms and dads that, and it's a given that you would think, of course they'll do anything for their kids if anything happens. But like, I think it still needs to be said because it's really hard. No one expects to have an unhealthy child and then it just happens.
Yeah.
And now it's time to step in.
And I'm sure, we talked about your identity change in a moment, but your parents had a son who was a superstar, and they had the privilege of having that, from probably fifth, sixth grade or whenever it was.
No, it wasn't that early. It wasn't that early.
Whenever you first touched the ball.
I didn't get good at basketball until I was about 14 or 15. So it took a while. I don't think they thought I was going to go to college until 14, 15 years old.
They had a nice long ride. And I know they're equally as proud, if not more so, of the way you've embraced this challenge. But that had to be a transition for them as well.
Yeah. But my early on, and I think this is so vital, it implied standards are often failures to whomever the person that's supposed to be receiving that. I think it's vital to tell your parents or tell people like how grateful you are. Like, I love you no matter if you dribble a basketball or not.
Right.
My love for you has never been determined on what you can do for me. I love you for you.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was an athlete. I had this narrative in my head that if I wasn't really good, I'm letting them down. And it's like, where did that come from other than me? They've never said that. But when I do remember, after my first knee injury, I wanted to come back to play because I ended up getting an infection after this. So it was not just a cut and dry ACL. Like, I got an infection.
This was in Europe?
This was in Europe.
Yeah.
I came back here in Jacksonville and got treated by Kamal Basali, which I was so grateful for. And something in my heart was like, Pat, yeah, you should go back and play basketball. It was going to be a hard path to do it. And my sister was like, hey, don't feel like you have to do this for us. You don't have to dribble a basketball for us to love you. And that was so reassuring for sure, because it prepared me for this, where I'm in. Like, I now have clarity of the people that want to be in my life. And what? So what? We could have been attached during my basketball time, but like, you can tell, is this person around me just because of what comes with it? Or like, they just like being my friend. We like hanging out. We want to get to know each other, et cetera. I've lived long enough, I think, where I have a decent discernment over people's intentions or hearts.
That's important.
Oh,
especially for an athlete.
If I could go back and grab myself and say, Patrick, the one thing I want to tell you, and take this with you for the rest of your life, combine these two. Don't be a people pleaser. and be very wise about the people you allow in your life. Like tie those two things into one. Because gosh, trying to be a people pleaser, you end up moving far. Like I compare it to this. Like you go to the beach, you set up in the spot and you're like, all right, this is where we're going to stay. Our kids go to the water. You're hanging out at your little spot at the beach, your chairs, maybe you're having a drink and you're like, oh, let me check on the kids. You look up and you think that they're right there and they're 20, 30 yards to the left, the right, wherever. And it's like, yeah, there's a current. And that's what people pleasing does. It pulls you away from who you want to be. It pulled me into places and around people. It's kind of tough because, you know, I go to college with a fraternity that I'm joining. Like I didn't get to choose. I don't get to go to the school and then say like, all right, which thing do I want to affiliate myself with? It's like, nah,
I'll join the debate club.
Those are your teammates. And yeah, there's a cult-like mindset with basketball that, look at Ja Morant. It's the number one example for someone that was not the type of person that he was portraying. He came from great neighborhood, great family, private school, never had a gun, like zero red flags to all of a sudden 2 instances in the NBA where he has guns, drinking out the bottle. Okay, have fun. Why do you have to post it?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned to you, one of my good friends was his agent until then Jim Tanner. Do you know Jim?
Yeah, I know Jim. You're friends with Jim Tanner?
Jim and I go back.
Oh my gosh, Jim's the best. I feel so, I love Jim and I wish things would have worked out for me to work with him longer. Life circumstances, getting injured, things that were at Italy. It was never anything on his side. He was nothing but good to me. And I'm so happy for him over at UNC now as a GM.
Yeah, we need to go up and have a field trip.
Oh my gosh, I would love to see him.
He's a good guy.
He's a great dude.
Week. Yeah, he's transitioned into that. I tell him I don't understand why he's so busy. All he's got to do is hire like 6 people a year. I mean, how hard is that?
Doesn't he? This is a job with the GM. What's he got to do? Like just make sure they're raising money. I mean, the North Carolina brand raises money by itself, you would think.
No, I'm sure it's a hard job. He's got to manage that basically payroll, right? But that's funny. But he was
going to work.
But he was with Morant until Morant, I guess, went with one of his former players, right, as his manager.
I'm not sure what he did, but it's just ironic because Jim Tanner, if you look at the clientele, Grant Hill, Tim Dunk. I mean, just these pedigree, awesome character individuals. And with Ja Morant came as he, developed himself well. A lot of money came with that. Yeah. But look, the character and standard didn't align. So.
And he did it a different way. Obviously, he loved having people like you with character.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure if you probably know this. Did Jim part ways or did Ja? Yeah.
I think it's the other way around, unfortunately.
If Ja did it, I'm sure Jim was actually like, okay, that's all right.
Probably. I wouldn't speak for him, but there's got to be 2 parts to that for sure.
We can share some bourbon over that because I know Jim's a bourbon guy.
Yeah, we need to get up there for sure. He could use a good guy hang, so we need to get up there for sure.
Well, shoot, I go up to Charlotte during the season, so maybe there's a chance I can get up there early.
Let's do it.
And we can find him in Chapel Hill.
He probably doesn't have any game day responsibilities, right?
I'm sure he has to be there.
Probably does. Probably can't be drinking bourbon.
No.
So you mentioned a sister. Tell me about the rest of your siblings. Is it just her?
Just her, yeah. Apparently, my parents listened to me when I was like 7 or 8 to tell them stop. No, don't have any more kids. Huh. And I'm like, you're going to hold that over my head?
Oh, man. So your sister's older?
Sister's older.
I got you.
She's older. She's great, man. She's
what's she up to?
She's one of one. She actually played golf at Florida State.
Okay.
She wanted to be a Gator, but the way things lined up, the way my dad, he wasn't a golf. He is a golf coach, but in terms of the recruiting and all that stuff, he thought she had a better opportunity there. Man, golf is a tough sport.
Oh yeah,
to be committed to at that young age. So even after Florida State, she pursued it for a little bit and didn't want to do it anymore. Went to UNF, got some prereqs, then got into South Carolina to get her doctorate in physical therapy. Stayed up in physical therapy for about 5 or 6 years, and then came back down here to Jacksonville. She's at UF Health.
Nice.
She actually comes with me sometimes on our trips to for speaking engagements. she's the most authentic where she cares almost too much for things out of her control. But it's also like when she is attached to something, she is willing to go to whatever ends to make it happen. She right now she's got 3 dogs. One of them's my fault that we were fostering. Call him Buddy. He's a great dog. He's just so bad at the same time.
Went from being a people pleaser to a dog pleaser.
Oh man, he's so out of control. Like we need to find a home for this guy.
Don't tell my daughter; she would pick it up.
No, I don't think she could take this one.
Yeah,
he's a very good dog. He just does not have any training.
Yeah,
and he's only 60 pounds, but he's so strong.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It was one day before I gave him my sister. I have this thing I can attach to my wheelchair to make it like a scooter.
Yeah.
It was like a dog sled. I didn't need to use any gas. I mean, he sprinted.
Sounds like a great asset.
Sprinted for like a mile and then he got tired. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Wow. That sounds like
how can he run full speed for that long?
And you don't weigh a little bit.
I don't. Oh, I would think me in the chair, this has to be 300 pounds.
Yeah, I would gather.
Yeah.
That is too funny. Well, tell listeners about the Patric Young Foundation and how they can help and what you guys are up to.
Yeah. So listeners, the Patric Young Foundation, I wouldn't say it's anything new in terms of spreading awareness about a topic. There's plenty of groups that are fighting for assisting people with spinal cord injuries. I've learned this past year, there's about 49 spinal cord injuries a day in our country, a little bit over 17,000 a year. Here in Florida, there's 9 highway deaths a day. And that's just deaths. How many accidents, how many back injuries? We take it for granted, right? So look, I didn't wake up that day saying I'm going to get in a car accident and have my life change forever. That's why it's called an accident. We want to fit in because insurance, as we all know this, they have a measure that they say is good enough for people to go back on their own. But in the mind of most individuals that I've come across, including myself, that good enough is not good enough for me. And we fill in the gap. We help people get back to driving, help people that get discharged to have all the items that they need. I'm really excited about this coming up. Going to host wheelchair basketball camp and clinic in the fall. I know the camp is September, and then there's a basketball team that we're sponsoring. And you might be like, "What? How does that align?" It aligns because these kids, when would they ever get an opportunity to play basketball on a college gym?
That's amazing.
It's expensive. Like there's about 15 college programs that have wheelchair basketball. 3 in the SEC, Alabama, Auburn, and Missouri. There's like, oh my gosh, the number of teams to try to get those spots and the cost for tournaments and camps. So we want to try to lighten the burden for these kids to have opportunities. Maybe this could be their chance to go to college on a full scholarship. Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping that by hosting this in Gainesville, I can light some fire under their butts and saying, like, why do you guys not do this as well? So I'm going to try to shame them on November 21st when we have that game and say, Florida, come on, man. What are you guys doing? Alabama and Auburn are kicking your butt. Let's get this thing going.
I love that. If anyone could do it, you can. So I assume they can go on your website, find ways to support those efforts and others.
You just type in Patric Young Foundation. It'll pop right up. And if you put a K, it's okay. I'll forgive you. It's Patrick without a K, but it'll still pop up.
I realized that the third time I was typing it. So like I said, I'm kind of stupid.
It's so annoying. It's like, Mom.
Parents just want to spot you.
Just put a K.
That's all right. I like the Patrick.
The number of times I have to and at least I do have them to blame.
Yeah.
I said, take it up with, but my sister is Sarah without an H. Huh. So
they just weren't big on consonants, huh?
Not big on, she said, unnecessary letters.
I see. They weren't like Wheel of Fortune people.
I like Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, it's a good show. Well, man, I wish we had more time. I know you and I will spend more time talking, and maybe we'll come back another time.
Shoot, if it's not raining next week, let's just, if you don't mind, I love going to Casba. That's a great spot. That's a great hang.
Let's do it. We both like jazz music, and we both like Mediterranean food. So let's go check it out.
Love it.
Guys, if you haven't checked out Patric Young, if you didn't have a chance to follow his career in real time, go on, check some of the highlights. Just incredible the way he throws his body around. Even more impressive, the presentations that he gives and the people that he inspires and the things that nobody ever even hears about except the people that benefit from it. So follow Patric Young. He's got a lot of cool stuff left to do. Thanks for coming on, buddy.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it. That was me talking to Patric Young, basketball phenom at various levels, and really somebody who's done extraordinary things athletically, but even more extraordinary things since leaving the court and since a tragic accident that for most of us would have stolen away identity and ambition and who knows what else. But for him, in some ways, and certainly it's something I perceived, I don't know if it's a fair description of how he feels, wouldn't purport to speak for him, but a culmination really of all of the things he was training for all those years, all the things that he had experienced and people that had poured into his life, including his parents and his coaches and just people he encountered along the way, so that when fate took his ability to walk, he was prepared both physically to recover and mentally to accept it, and then in so many ways authentically to embrace it as a new identity and one that he would use both to survive and to thrive and to encourage others. So, I mean, what a great story. I hate to call it a story because that seems contrived. Just what a great, lesson, opportunity for all of us to listen in and get to know him. And maybe get to know various aspects of ourselves where we could benefit from his encouragement. I encourage you to learn more about Patric Young. Certainly, watch some of the videos that are out there. He was just so incredibly strong, and I couldn't help but remember the way that he threw his body around as a player. You can see this in some of the videos where he was such a tremendous, especially defensive player, where he'd get the rebound and then sort of doing a Superman horizontally on the way out of bounds, would somehow manage to turn and throw the ball to a teammate, and just huge upper body strength. And then to see him come into my house and out of his truck and into a wheelchair and up the steps and through the living room and into the dining room, frankly, using all that same amazing upper body strength. I'm sure he could crush me like I was a piece of fruit. Still seems much taller than me, certainly when he's sitting down, and even when I'm standing up and he is sitting down. So, I guess my point is he did not become any weaker physically or in any other way by virtue of that accident that took, one of his abilities to do just one thing. I think we can all learn from that. I know I can. Guy inspires me. He makes me laugh. He makes me feel a lot cooler than I am. I love hanging out with people that are cooler than me. I enjoyed hanging out with him. Feel like we related over certain things, including as he was leaving, we were talking about that he was an a cappella singer. I don't know how we didn't get into that on the podcast, but gosh, we may need to have an episode too. But walked out to his car with him, watched him get into it, helped him position his wheelchair in the back of his pickup truck, went up to the window of his car to say goodbye. And as I presented him with a fist bump, he presented me with a handshake, to which I then moved to handshake. He then moved to fist bump. And I remembered that I'm not very cool at all. But he is. And I guess that's one of the blessings of this show. I get to hang out with people that are much cooler than me and get to know them, ask the dumb questions, and hopefully every once in a while an intelligent question that's along the lines of what you would want to know from these neat people. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I hope you'll share it with others. If you like this episode, I think you would probably enjoy the episode perhaps with Artis Gilmore, who was an NBA, a great and an all-star, and also Jim Tanner, who we talked about on this show, who Patrick and I have in common. He was at one time Patrick's agent, and he and I started practicing law together. So great episode with Jim Tanner. Other episodes with athletes include Johnny Rembert, who is in the Hall of Fame for the New England Patriots, played at Clemson. And those are the ones that jump out to me. But I hope you'll share this episode with anyone who enjoys the University of Florida or you think would enjoy learning more about Patrick and his experience. I hope you'll subscribe, and I hope you'll come back and join us next time on the My First Rodeo podcast. My First Rodeo.